Hello and welcome back to the What They Said Influencer Marketing Podcast, the favourite podcast that you listen to every week, diligently, I am sure, where we deep dive into everything to do with the creator economy. So let us know how you've been enjoying the podcast and keep listening on your favourite platform because it means that this was a good endeavour. We've been keeping the guest calibre very high this season, and I'm really pleased to say we're doing the same again because I am joined by the one and only Fiona Bosman from Bupa. Welcome, Fiona.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining. Are you having a good day?
Lovely day,
Good.
apart from the rain.
Apart from the rain.
Yeah.
We've just been chatting pets, dogs, cats while we set up.
Yeah, we thought we might start our own podcast on that, so we had to come back on track.
We're
Focus on what we're
hijacking
here
this
for.
podcast, and that's going to
Yeah, that's going to be the next one.
segue into...
I'll be back for that.
You'll be back. So, Fiona, I don't think I would do it justice explaining your colourful career to date and your experience. So could you give us a little overview of your current role, what you get up to day to day, and the journey you've been on to get to Bupa? Because I think we had an interesting chat about how you ended up at Bupa. So
We did. So I am the global brand director for Bupa right now. And Bupa is a really interesting brand because it's a really global company. But I think a lot of people think it's a UK company. But we actually have businesses in Spain and Australia and the UK and all over the world. And so it's a really exciting role. I started my career at Red Bull. So I did about 8 years there.
a very bold brand.
A very exciting brand. And I suppose it formed me into the marketeer I am today. So I am still that same person where
You've got your wings.
influencer is a core part of everything because that's what that brand was built on, really. So 8 years there, I then moved to Nokia and did about 3 years there. Really exciting brand at that time. Launched the first touchscreen phone. Can you imagine a time
Gen Z can't even imagine
when there was no touchscreen?
Yeah.
I was there when we were launching the very
What a
first
moment.
one. Oh, it was exciting.
Little did you know at that moment you were changing history.
We had the iPhone, then launched
You
a week
solely,
later.
Fiona. Oh, did it? Okay.
But it was very exciting. Lots of change. I mean, the whole industry changed.
Yeah,
at that
I
moment.
remember when smartphones, touchscreens came out.
It was brilliant. And I mean, I remember the time when it was like you can get your email on your phone. That was huge.
And now we don't want it on our phone.
Well, now we're just going like,
stay away.
what if my phone's not with me? I can't even move. I mean, so that was a brilliant time. And then I moved to Barclaycard. And you'll see a bit of a sort of theme throughout my career. It's always big changing moments in industries. And at Barclaycard, I was there when we launched contactless payments.
Wow.
So I remember a time before you tapped. I mean, it also feels like, really? Was there a time?
Yeah.
But
I had to put my pin in the other day and just
I know.
beyond me, I couldn't remember what it was.
And I
I had to
remember
get my notes app out to find out my
exactly.
pin number.
No idea what my pin is.
No.
And I remember conversations like people are never not going to put their pin in. They're never going to tap. And it started at something like £20.
Yeah.
People aren't going to do it. And now, that was 12 years ago.
Yeah. Now we're all slaves to Apple Pay.
Exactly. Now we don't even tap half the time.
Just show our faces,
We
tap our phones.
Exactly. Well, I get very excited on TFL where I don't have to do anything. I'm like, I don't even have to move my finger. I just tap it.
Smack your phone.
Yeah. And then I left there. I actually was born in South Africa. So I went back to Cape Town for a bit.
Lovely.
And started a creative agency there.
Amazing.
Consulted on lots of
Bringing all that experience together at
lots
those
of different
key milestone moments.
startups, fintechs. Was a lot of dedication to being a mummy at that time, still a big theme in my life.
Big role.
Big role. So balanced creativity, mummyhood, and all of those great things.
Imagine kids are a constant source of inspiration as well.
Yeah, went back to South Africa, spent time with my children. My daughter was born there, and lots of consulting across fintechs, startups, and some established brands, which was brilliant. Put all my learnings to the test and had a wonderful 3 or 4 years there. And then we moved back to the UK because we never the plan to stay there and worked across some more fintechs for a while. It was really interesting and actually probably thought I was going to stay forevermore in the startup world. And then Bupa came along and...
The rest is history.
The rest is history. It's a brand that I had sort of forgotten about, fallen off my radar.
We were talking before the podcast because you mentioned my understanding of Bupa from being a child was that it was a UK first brand or UK only brand. Obviously, that's not the case. And also, you said it nicely before that Bupa is essentially a health tech brand.
Yeah.
And given your history across Nokia and Barclaycard, tech has always been a sort of red thread across what you've done. So it feels like the perfect marriage of your experience and then making a brand exciting.
It's exactly why I decided to move there, because I feel like healthcare is full of friction and technology can change that. You know, when you just think about even a small thing to do with health, you feel like, there's a lot I'm going to have to do to get to what I want. And it shouldn't be. It's all at our fingertips. You know, technology's evolved so much and we're doing so much exciting stuff in that space. You know, you never replace doctors. You never want to.
No.
But it's about getting people to the right person as quickly as they can.
At the right time, yeah.
And when you balance that with helping people be healthier so they don't get sick, you know, that's where technology plays a huge role. So I found it so inspiring and exciting that we are probably best placed in the world to change healthcare. And I'm like, I'm in for that.
Definitely. And it feels like when you join a company, it's a good omen for big change. So perhaps, Fiona, you are
I want big
heralding
change.
the change of health.
I really, really want this business to change the world of health. I believe we can. So it's very exciting. 2 years I've been there and we've already done some really exciting stuff.
You have, and we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Could you give us sort of a snapshot of where your focuses are, what excites you and the direction you're heading in?
So I would say my focus as global brand director right now is to elevate Bupa out of the space in people's minds where they see Bupa as an insurance company, which is our heritage, into a space where we're seen as the biggest healthcare brand in the world, because that's what we want to be. That's what we always have been. We care about health holistically, from digital innovation through to the planet's health, and how all that's interconnected to help people live longer, healthier, happier lives. But that's a big task because we're very firmly placed in people's minds as an insurance brand. So my focus at the moment is on telling health stories, on elevating our conversation out of just insurance into celebrating health, celebrating the sharing of stories, because actually the more we talk about our health, the more connected we feel. We live in a world where people, we were talking before, feel, they don't feel connected a lot of the time. They feel
Loneliness
isolated,
is on the rise.
alone, and health is the one thing that connects all of us. The way we experience it is different, but we all have health.
It's deeply personal.
And it's deeply personal, but it's also deeply connecting. And somebody who's been through something that you've been through, may it be a small thing or a huge thing, they can share insights with you, connections that make you feel like, I'm not alone on this journey.
Less isolating.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how you said, obviously, the planet as well, because I think as soon as you get into health, you realise that it's just a massive web of interconnected things. So prioritising the planet also has impact on your health, air quality, getting active, physical, out in the real world.
All of it. The planet health and people health are one of the same. And actually, healthy people cannot be healthy without a healthy planet. And so we have a huge focus on sustainability and making cities healthier. That is one of our big focuses. And one of the reasons I absolutely love this brand is that we are a really kind brand whose focus is on making a better world. And there's not many brands who are like that.
I think that's a really interesting point. I think we'll get onto influencer in a moment, but I think generally the reception to Bupa, like you just said, is that human warmth of things. It's that sensibility, and people know what to expect. And I think what's helped us, particularly when working with influencers, for yourselves, is understanding that they are the ones that can tell those deeply personal stories that you just mentioned.
Exactly. That's why influence is so interesting for us, because...
Let's unpick that a little bit, because I think there's a lot there. And you said right back to Red Bull, where influencer was so intrinsic to whether it's sports people, tastemakers, key opinion leaders. I think influencer helps you operate authentically within a space where perhaps brands feel they can't sometimes, because they aren't the person having the experience. They're just suggesting their services. So how does influencer, or how do you see influencer increasingly playing a role for Bupa in the coming years, months?
So I think influencer, I mean, it's such a big thing, but it's also, I suppose I don't see influencer as a standalone channel or thing. Because of my history at Red Bull, I see it all just interconnected.
Yes.
And in a way, I feel like I was doing influencer marketing before it had a name.
Before it was cool.
Yeah, before it even was called influencer marketing. And it's really about other people telling the story that you want to tell, because it's way more credible if somebody tells your story than if you tell your story as a brand, right? And so for me, that's what influencer marketing is. And it
Borrowing the credibility of other people.
And working with people who are like-minded to you. You know, we all know as brand experts that our brand is like a person. If you met them, you know, any brand manager out there will know that beautiful. Like, oh, if we could draw this brand as a person, they would be X, Y, and Z. But you know, it's really hard to do that through advertising, through creating a poster. But actually, if you can find personas, people in the world who represent your brand, that's the perfect way to bring your brand to life. And so it can be from, you know, an average person who is not an influencer in the traditional sense of influencer, all the way through to the most famous person that we can imagine. Like, you know, we've worked with Annie Leibovitz, who's, you know, the best photographer in the world. That whole spectrum is important. And for me, it's not like one bit is important versus another. It's that storytelling of somebody else telling your story alongside you with the full breadth of people. That's where the power comes. And if you look at Red Bull, that's their entire marketing strategy is built on working with people who want to do what they do and creating a platform for them to do that.
You said it really nicely as well. Right at the start of your statement, you said about how influencer should and is part of an interconnected mix of channels. And I think from my side, agency side, how the influencer, if we speak about just influencer, how that's changed over the past 5 years, where it was brands just wanted to drive app installs or downloads and work with hundreds of influencers a month. And it's really positive that I feel like Bupa, hopefully Pretty Green, are at the forefront of changing that, where it's not just about the volume of influencer partnerships. It's about showing the influencer lends you that credibility, authenticity, the power to play in spheres and spaces where perhaps brands can't authentically show up or feel like they'll be too heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And then as part of that integrated mix of channels, so as an integrated agency, for us, it's nice to see influencer play well with paid media or with comms and events and experiential right through the line. So I feel like that's an exciting space for Bupa to play as well.
It's such an exciting space, and I would say it's probably my biggest passion in the world, and can cause friction because businesses are still quite siloed. They still like to think, oh, well, this is the influencer department, and this is this department, and this is the paid media department. And I'm like, there's no departments. There is just a person.
There's a team.
And that person needs messages from us, and they need to be integrated. And if you create an influencer strategy that's not integrated with your comm strategy and not integrated with your paid media strategy, then, well, none of them are going to be successful.
And they're not working smart.
Yeah. An influencer's never going to work on its own.
No.
It's going to just be a tactical thing that happens over here. So we use influencer marketing. I don't even know if we would call it that. Everything we do is like, what's the big idea?
Yeah.
And then how do we bring all the pieces of the pie to bring that idea to life? And influence is always a core part of that.
I think that's winning brands are recognising that more and more so now, where there's a lot of AI and a lot of automation coming to the front with influencer marketing, which I feel, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I still feel like that's chasing the old methodology of trying to maximise the number of partnerships and output. But actually, like you said, having that one sort of creative brand platform or whatever the moment is, the big idea, and how influencer ladders up into that and supports the other channels in a nice web of amplification as opposed to just...
That's exactly right. And, you know, it's also different where you are in the business. I'm in a global brand role, and my role is very top of the funnel. It's to build the brand,
broad awareness,
credibility and awareness and what we stand for. You know, if you're lower down the funnel and you're trying to use influencer to drive app downloads, you're going to have a different strategy. But I would say you'd have more success, less is more, less quality, done well, rather than just hundreds of people.
Because it's not sustainable either.
not sustainable, and it's not building credibility for your brand.
And also the relationships with the talent and the influencers.
Well, it's
Because you want those longer term partnerships as well.
it's very expensive if you're just doing all these one-hit wonders.
And what does it say to the audience as well, that Bupa's not in it for the long game as well?
It's not easy to find the right people.
I have a question on that.
Okay.
Let's talk about, was Bupa working with influencers before you joined? And then also, has it always been a smooth fit, an easy ride? Or we're about to get onto finding the right talent is hard?
So I don't think we've worked with influencers like we're working with influencers now. We definitely started, but it sort of coincided with the time that I joined. And it's not easy to find the right fit because you, like we talked about, your brand is a person, and you need to work with people who fit that. And it's not just about finding anyone who you're going to pay some money to talk about something, because if they're not, they're not caring. If they're not slightly brave, and if their values are not aligned with your values, that's actually going to have a negative impact on your brand versus a positive. So the finding of the right talent, the right people, is a difficult task. And so when you find them, then you should commit to that, because otherwise you're starting every single time again.
Yeah.
And there are brands out there who may be less discerning, but I would say all brands should be pretty clear about what they stand for, who they want to associate with.
Who will exemplify that for them?
And that's, that's going to be completely different. For Red Bull, who they want to work with versus who Bupa wants to work with, entirely different people.
Yeah.
But they're perfectly fitting to who
At
their
the crux
brand
of it,
is.
yeah, it's that brand fit.
And, you realize that you see brand partnerships or influencer partnerships with brands, and you think, oh, that's good. That fits. And then other times I see things and I think, they just threw some money at
Bit
that.
of a miss, yeah.
That doesn't feel like the right kind of person.
Yeah.
And there's, we've been on a journey. There's moments where you go like, oh, that feels really good. And other moments where you think, oh, it was fine, but they're not really us.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of it is just trial and error, learn as you go. And then
Do you get a gut feel?
100%. It's all about gut feel.
It's hard to quantify that as well, isn't it? You live and breathe the brand.
Yes.
One interesting thing, I don't know if you've heard this from influencers as well. We did a panel at the start of the year, and we had some talent on it, some influencers on it, with Innocent were on there with us. The talent said, we're vetting brands just as much as they vet us now.
And they should.
Right.
Because
does that worry you? Or you think
no,
actually
I think
that's good?
Great. I think that's really good because it should be a partnership. I think that there was a moment in time where influencer was like this thing, this channel, this media channel in a way, where it was like, oh, well, you used to buy some clicks, now you just go and buy some influencers and get some, and that's not ever. Well, for me, it's never what it was, because Red Bull was doing influencer for 20 years before influencer, and it's always been about finding the right people to tell the story together. And if you don't have the right people, what's the point? There's no way everybody's the right person.
No.
And so it cannot be about just clicks, get as much as you can, because you'll see the content at the end of the day and say, that doesn't feel like us.
And it's that gut feeling again, isn't it?
It is. And it's hard as well, because as a brand owner, we're used to going, I've made this beautiful thing that's made the way I want it to be made. And then I need to work with an influencer, and they make something. I think, well, that's not how it should look. But that's how their brand should look.
Yeah.
And so you've got to choose someone who is more aligned to your brand.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have that weird disconnect where you look at what they've made and you think, oh, I don't like that. A great partnership is really aligned. You go, oh, well, it's in their style, but it still feels really connected to us.
Do you have, I think, any brand people listening to this?
Yes.
That probably, I think influencers often seen as, well, everyone's doing it now. Unilever's putting X amount more into influence, and we need to be doing it. But there is a real challenge, and we've touched on the gut feeling, but when it comes to trusting the influencers to get your brand voice across. So do you have any advice to brand marketers that are thinking, I need to influencer, but I'm really worried because my brand is perceived as X, influencer has this brand for themselves. How do we marry the two?
So
If you've got any funny faux pas as well, that'd be great.
my advice would be take a lot of time at the start to find the right connection, and don't just throw money at a huge wide net of people. And I have definitely had moments where I'm like, oh yes, I want to do influencer for this. And then you look at this whole list of people and you think, oh, none of them feel right. And I would say a lot of people do that. So it's invest the time up front. Take months if you need to
Don't rush
find
it
a
out.
few key people who are just closely aligned. You look at their content, you think, yes, that's how I would like to talk. That feels connected, because you're never going to take someone who has an entirely different brand persona and make them yours.
Yeah.
You don't want them
Shoehorn
to.
in messaging and
Oh, you're just going to. It's just going to be friction the whole time. And so your first thing is to just look at the content they make and see how far away it is from yours. And I don't think, as brand owners, maybe we did that enough in the past. We'd just be like, oh, they've got a huge following. They've got millions of followers. I want that.
yeah.
But then you go and do something with them and, they're being them, but it's not you. And then you try and make them be your brand.
And then you lose the connection.
And then you lose the connection because their followers want them. So it's put in the hard work in the beginning. Don't rush it, because if you do, you'll never win.
And it will never work.
No.
And audiences are so discerning. They will know exactly.
Discerning.
Just like Bupa as a brand, people will know, and the connection will feel insincere.
It will.
You mentioned, though, it does feel like there is still room to test and learn.
100%.
So when you establish this framework working with influencers, that's not set in stone and it continues to evolve. Is that right?
Yes, it continues to evolve as we tell different stories. But I do think it's important to have a strategy of like, what's the story we're trying to tell overall? And for influencer to be less campaign by campaign or product by product, because then it starts to join up to something bigger than, so for us, it's about telling health stories. And so you can see how you start to get to a really strong place, because, everyone's got a health story to tell.
Yeah.
And so then you start to say, okay, well, all right, I want to select the stories of people who fit my brand. But if you're just going, right, well, today I want to sell this and tomorrow I want to sell this, and you don't have that longevity.
Yeah.
And so once you have a clear, this is what the story you want to tell, then you have the ability to test and learn within that.
Yeah.
To go, okay, well, push it a little bit and let's try this person. Oh, that didn't feel right. And there's something great about just spending a little bit of money and just trying something and seeing how it works, and then going, that didn't work, and then pivoting. And then you see something else works and you go, oh, that did work. Okay, so we should do more of that and spend more there.
Yeah.
And
I think that's really important, and definitely what we advocate for is that even if something feels like a miss, there's so many valuable learnings in that. Because you know exactly who the fit is, or perhaps the channel format or the content type wasn't right, the messaging wasn't coming across in the right way. Would you say things are definitely shifting in terms of healthcare brands working with influencers?
Yes.
I can imagine there was a time not too long ago where it felt quite risky.
Yes.
How are you navigating that? Is it a lot of internal education? What's the journey been like? Or was Bupa really open to that from the get-go?
I think it's a journey. Some of it is, like I've talked about, choosing the right people. So taking the risk out of it so that you select people who are not going to devalue your brand, who are not going to pose a risk. A lot of it is test and learn. Do some, show the value, do some more, show the value, keep going. I think it's very hard for people to believe in something before they've seen any return on it. And so for me, when I came into Bupa, it was like, right, I'm going to do one thing, I'm going to do it really well. And people will see that and say, oh, that's interesting. So then that gives you permission to do another thing really well and to continue to build it. And also, if influencer is part of your strategy, it takes that risk out of it, because you're talking about an integrated creative platform where storytelling and working with other people to tell your story is part of that platform.
And it's not just resting on 5 to 10 influencers you worked with. It's a big integrated
approach. And I have an amazing legal team at Bupa. Really
We
amazing.
all need one.
But they are brilliant. They understand our brand. They understand what I'm trying to do. They work with me really closely, and they will say, here are the risks. Here's the measured risk. Here would be the safest option. Let's discuss it. Let's have a look at these things. That is the most amazing partnership that you can create. Yeah. And I've worked in businesses where I didn't have that partnership with the legal team, who didn't understand brands. They didn't understand the world that we live in.
And that restricts what you're
really,
able to do.
really difficult because, as a brand owner, you do want a sounding board. There are things where you think, I really want some advice here.
Yeah, of course.
And then you want to go to somebody who's not just going to say, oh, absolutely, shut it all down, don't do it. Because anything new has got some level of risk.
Of course.
But you can make a very informed decision to say, okay, well, there's a little bit, let's choose to do that and let's learn. So one of my pieces of advice was find yourself a great legal partner who really gets it.
Get legal sorted.
Yeah, get a really great legal partner.
So without naming names, you can if you want. You can spill some tea if you like, Fiona. What's one common mistake that you're seeing a lot on social? Doesn't necessarily just have to be with influencers, but hopefully so, that you think brands are just missing a trick with?
So this is a common mistake that sometimes upsets me as a brand owner, is that the content that really flies on social is the least branded and is the most rough. And as brand owners, we want to make everything beautiful and refined and polished and spectacular. And I still do make some of that.
Of course.
But the stuff that flies is on the street, vox pops, chat with somebody about real life stuff. And that's the stuff that everybody wants. It's hard because a lot of us come from a world where it's all about beauty. It's all about perfection and the quality. Yeah. And actually, I realized that you need some of that because you need storytelling in different ways, but you've got to balance it with lots of just getting to real people, real things, shot on a phone, on the street. On the
underground.
And it's just, that's what people want. They want real stuff.
I think that's so true. I think this is what brand marketers struggle to understand, and we know it's right, where actually unpolished doesn't mean it's not rich with storytelling. And I think that's the challenge sometimes.
It's such a challenge because, for forever until this world existed, it was all about, production quality. And all of a sudden it's not. It's about the quality of the storytelling. Don't worry about the production. Yeah. What's the story you're telling?
What's the story, and start from there. I mean, the Picture of Health campaign that you did with Pretty
beautiful.
Green, Annie Leibovitz as the photographer, world renowned, but then also you have so many layers which you've touched on where there is the slightly less polished, more rough and ready influencer content that is actually real. It can be a bit grittier. But then you've got those high quality assets as well that you can sweat and work hard in multiple different channels.
And that's where this integration works because you've got, from all the way to the top, all the way through, it feels like this really rich campaign because you've got, even in that campaign, you've got Michael Johnson. He's part of that campaign. He's telling his story. He's world famous and he's amazing, but he's alongside, just a normal person who works at Bupa, who's telling their story. And each of those stories are rich in their own right.
I mean, even UGC for that campaign as well.
Also, every week, amazing people sharing their pictures of health. And none of those were polished. But they all work together in this lovely integrated way. And I think that's when the magic really happens, when you can bring it all together. And often as brand marketers, we can do the beautiful bit. And then it starts to feel quite uncomfortable when you get into the user-generated bit because it's like, but I haven't got any control and I haven't refined this. But that's...
And as a brand person, that is terrifying.
It's terrifying, but it's exciting because I see the results. Even recently we've done something where I've seen our Instagram followers sort of increase by the thousands on content that, is not polished in the slightest.
And it feels platform native and real.
It feels so real, and it was so cheap, and
that's great.
It is great, but and it's flying.
I'm not going to put words in your mouth.
Okay.
But I feel like this conversation has led us to the point of future gazing on influencer marketing.
Okay,
So
love it.
from what I'm taking from this,
Yeah.
and I'll let you put it in your own words, but it feels like successful brands that want to do right and do well in this space, well by influencers, well by themselves, and also keep driving those successful KPIs and campaign metrics, are embracing influencer marketing as a core component of a fully integrated mix. It can operate in silo, but those that will be winning probably be integrating influencer far more holistically into their strategy and not just as a siloed piece of work.
I would say you have summarised my words perfectly.
You can
And
come
I
back
could
whenever
not
you
say
like,
it
Fiona.
better myself, but I do think you will only win in that way. I think in an isolated influencer strategy, just like an isolated comm strategy,
It can have
or
a
an
place,
isolated
yeah.
media strategy, that I don't think they can in the long term, because I think
Not if they're laddering up to the big
not
mission.
if you're trying to ladder it all up, and it again it comes back to what's the mission. If the mission is very low down the funnel, maybe, but if you're trying to use influencer to build your brand story, it's got to be part of a brand story. It cannot be a department on its own sitting over here doing something, because it will never integrate into something else. So it will never feel like it's attached to something bigger.
That was beautiful. I also feel like one of the challenges we see as an agency across lots of different clients, past and present, is that sometimes influencer can sit within the performance team, or it can sit within the growth team, or it can sit within user acquisition, and that's where it's relegated to lower funnel, and it's not part of that big brand mission and brand building. Fiona, this has been a lovely conversation with you.
I've really loved it too. It's been really fun.
We didn't talk about cats, so I'm
I
proud
know.
of us.
I'm really sad.
Has Luna got an Instagram account?
No, but I'm going to start one for her.
Okay, watch this space. Cool. Right, Fiona, it is now time for our lie detector test.
Oh, exciting!
We've recorded this intro 3 times and I made a lot of noise, so Fiona is doing very well at feigning excitement now. So, as you know, we're going to ask you a series of questions based on your LinkedIn profile. So Holly, our producer, has had a wonderful time digging into the detail, and I'm going to quiz you. I've got 6 questions.
And you know that I do not want to lose this.
I know you've told me you're very competitive.
Yeah. So if I don't get 14 out of 14, I'm not going to be happy.
This won't air. I got 7 when I did this, so I've set the bar very low. At top, we have India from True Start Coffee, who got 14.
I know. I'm taking India out.
You're taking her down.
Taking her down.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put this down while I ask the questions. So, Fiona, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I feel like I could do Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or like Weakest Link or something.
I don't know. I'm going to get some money at the end of this.
Okay, question number 1. Who featured in your most recent LinkedIn post?
Oh, Arabella.
Correct, your daughter. And what did the post discuss?
Girls and being anything they want to be in the world. It is a passion of mine.
That is the right answer. I've got a bonus point for you here.
Oh, tell me.
Why do you feel this is important to discuss on socials?
Because I don't think enough people use LinkedIn to talk about their family, their children. I feel like when I was at the beginning of my career, I didn't have role models who talked about balancing motherhood and work, and they are both really important to me. And I want to do anything I can for the future generation to see that you can be both.
I love that. I feel like also, this is relevant, Jacinda Ardern, who was PM of New Zealand, is doing an awful lot at the moment around the challenges she's faced as PM of New Zealand and also having her first child.
It's so not easy, and you do not feel supported as a new mother, thinking, how am I going to do this? So it is, apart from making Bupa world famous, the second most important thing for me from a career point of view is finding a space where women can still be amazing while being mothers, because we need both.
Perfect. Question number 2. What did you post about this year for International Women's Day?
Oh, I posted about my daughter again. I talk about Arabella a lot. We've talked about it. Motherhood's important to me.
You do have another daughter.
I only have one daughter.
Luna.
Oh, I have tiny Luna.
It just surprised you then, do I?
She's more like the boss of the house.
Yeah.
She's more like the grandmother.
It's your cat's world, you just live in it.
Exactly.
I feel like we've already covered off the bonus point for this question. It was, why is this cause important to you? So International Women's Day, is there anything particular? I think you've touched on being a strong female role model.
I actually posted the day after International Women's Day because I feel like we shouldn't only have one day.
No.
I think it's so important that we support women. But I also have a son. And my other passion is that I think it's really hard being a boy right now because there's lots of stuff going on in the world for girls. And there's a real, well, what is it to be a boy? So that is another thing that I am passionate about and I do a lot on. But there is an International Boys' Day right now, so I haven't posted about that.
It's all year round.
Exactly.
No, I think it's important as well for men to recognise the challenges women face. But also to your point, we were discussing it just before, young boys growing up today, there's a lot of toxic masculinity and things they're trying to navigate too. So perfect answer. Bonus points. You got 2 bonus points for that question. You're doing well. We're halfway through.
Yes.
What festive partnership did you repost about 5 months ago?
Festive partnership? Oh.
This is, yeah.
It's festive Christmas.
And it's what you got behind.
Give me another clue.
This person is delicious.
Oh, Deliciously Ella.
Yeah, got there all on your own.
Yeah, thanks for my tips. Oh, Deliciously Ella. Ella Mills. What a wonder. Perfect influencer partnership for us.
Definitely.
Because she just embodies all the values that we do. And we did a beautiful collaboration with her at Christmas. So that is a great example of really great influencer marketing.
Definitely.
I absolutely loved that campaign.
And she's so I love her bars, and we have them in the kitchen at work, the little Deliciously Ella orange cocoa.
Oh, they're delicious, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
namesake there, delicious.
Yes, exactly.
You actually got the bonus point for that question without me asking it. So congratulations, Fiona. We're now on to question 4. 2 months ago, you posted about an award that you won that mentioned Pretty Green. What was that award?
Oh, we won a brilliant award for Picture of Health, which is my most exciting campaign. We've actually won lots of awards.
Lots, yeah.
Yes.
It's easier to name the awards you haven't won for that campaign, I think.
Well, yes, last night we didn't win one.
Let's not talk about that. You already have too many trophies.
Esther. Is it Esther? Essa?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yep. European Sponsorship Association. And
we won 3 awards that night, let me note. We have won a lot of awards for that campaign. It's absolutely amazingly brilliant.
Speaks to how great it was.
Oh, it was amazing. And,
there's a bonus point for this question. What do you feel is the importance of sharing your accomplishments? There's no wrong answers for this.
I think that for my team, I am so passionate about being a great leader and empowering my team to be brilliant. They put so much work, effort into that campaign. And for me to share the results and tag them all in that and show them how proud I am is always the reason I share those things.
It does take an army, doesn't it?
Makes me really, really happy when they're happy.
Good.
Yeah,
definitely. Amazing answer. Thank you, Fiona. We're on to question number 5. 4 months ago, we went in on detail here.
I'm like, you have not made this easy.
4 months ago, you posted about another international day. What was the topic? This is quite niche, this one.
4 months ago, so this would have been January, February.
Yeah. It was an international day of something.
Health.
It starts with H. It sounds like, and finishes with hugging.
Oh, International Hugging Day.
Yes, and another one you did all by yourself.
Oh, that was so brilliant. So one of our more recent partnerships, influencer on a ginormous scale. Is we are the healthcare partner for the All Blacks. And I absolutely adore the Black fans who are the women's team. You can see a big theme, women are my passion. And they did this wonderful thing that hopefully everybody in the whole world saw, where they hugged the king. And we captured some brilliant content and of them talking about that hugging moment. And it was just wonderful that we could post that on
International Hugging Day.
Because who knew there was an International Hugging Day? Exactly. Perfect example of where, like, just rough content can be attached to a moment in time, attached to a bigger partnership, and all come together to create, just a lovely moment.
And that's International Hugging Day, the day that we didn't know we needed, but now exists.
Exactly, and now I will support that every day.
I'm pleased to say you got both the bonus point for that as well. This is the last question.
Okay, so I'm on 14.
You are on 14. There's 1 point for this question. For an end of year post, what did you discuss and why did you feel that it was important?
I discussed my team.
Correct.
And how wonderful they are, because they are so wonderful. I do constantly tell them that nobody can achieve on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the sum of all the parts. And my team are a makeup of so many different personalities. There's like outgoing, vivacious people and more calm, reflective people and doers and movers and shakers. And the sum of that is just this wonderful team of people who all understand each other, and together they're amazing. And I've always had amazing teams. I have, because I think that I celebrate individuality and help people see the value that different people bring. And so together they feel like, oh, we need a bit of that, we need a bit of this here, and you're great at that, and you're good at this. And then together you can shine. And so, to celebrate them is everything for me, because my success is only because of them.
Definitely. I think you got full marks for that one. And I agree. I think a great leader recognises the individuality and the individual values that each person brings and helps them shine. And high tires raise all ships. I'm pleased to say, drum roll. We've never done a drum roll. Sorry, that gave me such an ick. I'm never doing that again. You got 15 points, Fiona.
I'm at the top of the leaderboard.
You're at the top of the leaderboard.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Not that we're at all competitive or it matters whatsoever.
Well, let's just say that I am quite competitive.
So, Fiona, I'm pleased to say I'm going to put 15 there for you.
Can we just say that if somebody takes my position, I need to come back?
We'll have you back.
All right, thank you.
But we'll have to. But you can't get higher than 15, so we'll have to reinvent the whole.
Oh, all right. Fiona Bosman.
Fiona from Bupa, a grand 15 points at the top. This is an accomplishment that you should be shouting about on LinkedIn, I think, personally.
All right, I'm on it today. That's today's post.
How do you feel, Fiona, after your win?
I feel ecstatic. Since I lost last night, I now win today.
You win today.
I'm back at the top.
You're back at top of your game.
Back
I would
on
say.
the top of my game.
Fiona, it's been absolutely brilliant having you on the podcast. I feel like the conversation has flowed.
I loved it.
Good. We'll have you back anytime. Are there any parting thoughts, any critical feedback you would like to give me? I'll take it deeply personally. Or just that you had a swell time.
I absolutely had the most amazing time.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it. And I think that next time we can definitely allow ourselves a small amount of pet talk.
Yeah.
But we did very well not talking about our cats.
We had a briefing call for this podcast where we spent half of it talking about cats. I'm expecting to see photos. I'm sure you've got
That's why I was so prepared for this call, because we used all our prep time talking about cats.
If people want to find you.
Yes.
Not your email address, but people can find you on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Very
Fiona
active.
Bosman.
Fiona Bosman on LinkedIn. Are you active anywhere else?
No. I'm active on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's enough for us.
Yeah, great.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. I've absolutely had a joy of a time having Fiona on board with us. And if you'd like to, please give this a review wherever you listened. It means the world. And we'll see you next time, where I'm not sure what we're talking about yet. So stay tuned and on the edge of your seat, I'm sure. Until then, see you later.